A dangerous escalation in the Russia-Ukraine war and a crucial juncture which could be a point of no return. Russia has reportedly launched a fresh wave of attacks on European armaments factories. The aim here could be to test NATO's resolve. Meanwhile, as the UK Prime Minister's move to hand over missile blueprints to Ukraine triggers a major escalation and a war of words, where are things headed? We are decoding that in just a bit for you. Also on the show for you tonight, can China trump on Iran sanctions? We get you the complete story and all that you need to know. A Pakistan lawmaker mocking the Pakistan Army chief, not missing any words in yet another embarrassment for Asim Munir. We tell you how Iran has struck what seems to be a gas jackpot amid Trump's economic warfare and the escalating tensions. Ajit Doval arrives in China. All eyes on Xi Jinping's visit to India. We get you a detailed report on what all has unfolded. We also tell you how and why southern Thailand has been rocked by over 50 coordinated attacks. It's a major crisis that's unfolding. Global youth jobs in jeopardy as unemployment rises. We tell you all that you need to know and why this matters. All this and a lot more coming up. The Russia-Ukraine war stands at a major juncture once again. And this one could be a point of no return. In fact, Russia is upping the ante, both with its rhetoric and on the ground. The British Prime Minister handing over a blueprint of missile technology to Ukraine has left Russia miffed, to say the least. Let's just peel off the layers bit by bit for you and also tell you what's happening behind the scenes. First, let's take you to the battlefield and tell you how this war seems to be expanding. According to a report in The Telegraph, citing Western intelligence sources, Russia has launched a fresh wave of attacks on European armaments factories under the guise of plausible deniability. How exactly? Let's break it down. The report says the Kremlin is recruiting local gang members to sabotage defense manufacturers. But what's the motive here? Reportedly to test NATO's resolve. According to the Telegraph report, intelligence officials believe that the attacks appear carefully calculated to fall just short of triggering Article 5, which is NATO's mutual defense clause. This is very significant. Let's also tell you why this is all the more significant given the timing and what else has been happening. The bigger picture. The UK Prime Minister has now declared Britain is 100% behind Ukraine. It's a reiteration of support for Ukraine. Let's tell you what's unfolded over the last few hours itself. The UK Prime Minister in Ukraine, this is his first foreign trip, remember, and this is to mark the country's Independence Day. What's the backdrop? This comes as relations between the Kremlin and 10 Downing Street continue to suffer amid the Russia-Ukraine war and threats from Moscow, which have now escalated. In fact, Burnham's message to Ukraine was, "We are with you in this struggle all the way." Not just that, he added, quoting, "Ukraine has been Europe's protector, not a drain on our security, but the front line of keeping Europe safe." Let's play out this statement for you.
And despite Russia's outrageous threats to my country, we will continue our support for Ukraine's defence. I know you need more help to protect your skies and your civilians. I know how hard the winters have been and the need to be ready this year when the nights draw in.
But then beyond those words of support and rhetoric, here's the more crucial aspect of why this visit holds so much significance and why it's garnered that much attention. The UK's decision basically to present Ukraine with newly declassified blueprints to allow Kyiv to improve its production of long-range missiles. The UK Prime Minister, meanwhile, accusing the Kremlin of what he calls outrageous threats against the UK as Russia reacted, warning of an escalation in tensions following UK's move. The UK Prime Minister has basically promised to keep up the pressure on Russia despite Moscow's threats. So that's as far as the UK Prime Minister's stance is concerned. And while he declared Britain is 100% behind Ukraine, Russia, meanwhile, is 100% not pleased with these developments. Let's tell you how they have reacted. Moscow says the UK is participating in this war, and the decision to hand over classified information on missiles will add, quote-unquote, fuel to the fire. Not just that, the Kremlin has said Britain's decision to hand Ukraine the classified information on British-made components used to make the Scalp long-range cruise missiles would add fuel to the fire and was regarded by Moscow as extremely negatively. And asked about the visit and the support specifically, the Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov accused Britain of doing everything it could to prevent any progress towards an eventual peace deal. Very crucially, Peskov said that the Russian military was already systematically gathering data to identify the location of any missile production sites and then destroying them. And have a look at the other layer to these developments. There's more. Will Britain giving Ukraine access to this missile technology even make a difference? Can it really be a game changer, if at all? Let's put the spotlight on that aspect now. Just to put this simply, the Prime Minister's decision to declassify the information about the UK-made components of the Storm Shadow or Scalp missiles will basically enable Ukraine to eventually build its own version. But then here's the thing, this may take years. And here's the context for you. Britain will allow the release of the classified technology so that a British/French designed cruise missile can be manufactured in Ukraine, just to put this simply. The UK is set, in fact, the UK's move to hand over the blueprints for its British-French designed Storm Shadow cruise missiles to Ukraine, following a similar move from France, remember, allowing Ukraine to produce the weapon domestically. Let's break this down further. Paris and Kyiv basically want to set up a Ukrainian production line for the Scalp air-launched cruise missile by the end of the year. The declassification of information on the British-made components of the missiles is a major step towards that goal. So that's what the announcement is all about. And this move sends out a lot of symbolism. It's an important signal, basically showing that some Western nations are willing to share their expertise to help Ukraine defend itself. So it's a symbolic move, but then it is not going to dramatically alter the war, is what has been said reportedly. Scalp and Storm Shadow missiles have already been provided to Kyiv by both Britain and France. Remember, they have already been used to hit military targets inside Russia. They also rely on complex global supply chains. Even with the blueprints as such, Ukraine might find it hard to source the components. And what exactly is this missile all about that we are talking about? The Scalp air-launched cruise missile, it's known as the Storm Shadow in the United Kingdom. It's basically a conventionally armed, long-range, deep strike weapon, of which Ukraine has used imported versions with success against targets. In fact, it has a maximum range of about 550 kilometers and can carry a 400 kilogram high explosive penetrating warhead, according to the Missile Threat Project at CSIS, the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Meanwhile, on the ground, Russia and Ukraine continue to fire strikes at each other. Ukrainian authorities earlier said 5 people were killed in the Kharkiv region, while Russia says 3 teenagers were killed when a children's center was hit by drone debris. 4 logistics hubs owned by Russia's second largest online retailer reportedly in southern Russia were targeted in Ukrainian drone attacks, according to the company, bringing the number of targeted facilities to 6 since the 22nd of August. Ukrainian firefighters, meanwhile, battled a large blaze at a hypermarket in the southern city of Odessa following Russian strikes. It said warehouses were also damaged in the strikes, according to the authorities. Not just that, Ukraine has claimed Russia is amassing more ballistic missiles and considering whether to mobilize an extra 300,000 soldiers. That's what's been claimed. But then where are things headed from here onwards? And what about the prospect of peace or negotiations? As of now, hope seems to be in limited supply as the two sides tread down this dangerous path of escalation. Let's now talk about the other key developments that we are tracking. In just a few minutes from now, the so-called economic D-Day for Iran will kick in expectedly, with the US Treasury Secretary set to unveil major economic sanctions on Iran. In fact, Trump claims Iran is completely collapsing. But Tehran asserts that this tactic will fail and threaten to shut down all oil exports from West Asia. So a lot is happening. Without detailing specific measures as such, Besant has signaled that the US would also target nations that practice appeasement by engaging with Iran's economy and financial system. China, though, drawing the red line here, opposing imposition of fresh sanctions against Iran, which it argued would escalate the tensions. It called upon all parties to exercise restraint and return to talks. Listen to this.
Sanctions and pressure will not help resolve the issue. They will only exacerbate tensions and escalate the situation, which is in no one's interest. China calls on all parties to remain rational and exercise restraint, avoid measures that could further intensify differences and conflicts and disrupt global economic development and financial stability, and return to the right track of dialogue and negotiations and a political solution as soon as possible.
Now, why exactly is China's stance so crucial? Let's explain this. According to reports, Beijing helped push Tehran to the negotiating table for a ceasefire in April, being Iran's largest trading partner, which purchases roughly 90% of its crude oil. In fact, China has high stakes in reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Another key question here, can Trump bypass China's opposition and just go ahead with these economic sanctions? You see, since his visit to Beijing in the month of May, the US president has been keen on China buying American soybean oil as well as Boeing jets. For America, China's supply of critical minerals is also vital, as they are essential components in production of weapons which have been depleted by the war. Going against China at this juncture might put all of this at risk. So that's at stake. And it's also worth pointing out here that Xi Jinping is set to meet Trump at the White House in September, remember. And ahead of America's announcement, mediation efforts reportedly continue. The Pakistan Army chief arrived in Tehran, where he met the Iranian Interior Minister. According to Reuters, Trump spoke to Munir last week, with the US seeking Pakistan's influence to bring Iran back to the talking table. Meanwhile, on the ground, tensions persisted in West Asia. For instance, Yemen's Iran-backed Houthis claiming responsibility for firing a ballistic missile at a Saudi Arabia-flagged tanker in the Red Sea. And this led to a fire breaking out on the vessel. The Houthis declared a maritime blockade of Saudi Arabia last month, remember. On its part, Iran blacklisted 45 tankers for breaking its rules while crossing the Strait of Hormuz, and warned other vessels not to transit the waterway without its permission. It stressed that these vessels could be fined and have their cargo confiscated as well. Additionally, it threatened other countries against joining new US efforts to squeeze Tehran's economy.
In this regard, the necessary warnings have definitely been given, because any complicity with America in carrying out its aggressive actions against Iran will definitely have its own consequences.
Meanwhile, Iran has clarified that it was yet to receive a formal invitation to join the Mecca Defense Pact, which, remember, was signed by Pakistan, Turkey and Saudi Arabia. But very significantly, Tehran did not rule out negotiations with these countries for the overall security of the region. America's fresh threat of economic sanctions, by the way, also coming at a time when the Iranian rial has fallen to a historic low, crossing 2 million rials against the US dollar. And this has raised fresh concerns about inflation, purchasing power, and the Iranian government's ability to stabilize the economy. Food has become very expensive, with the price of rice, for example, up by 60% since the war started. Now, the Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian also acknowledged the issues arising out of the current deadlock. And he linked the MOU with the US to Iran's economic prospects, basically saying that his country was not able to attract investment at present. People on the streets of Iran also expressed their anguish over the current state of affairs.
Naturally, the economic situation of the people has worsened compared to before, and the measures that the government has taken in this regard have had little effect to compensate for the inflation that the country is currently experiencing.
So with both the US and Iran unwilling to really budge from their positions as of now, West Asia continues to remain on edge. Switching gears, a US Navy sailor serving on a record-breaking combat deployment in West Asia faces an unexpected battle back home. His father has been taken into federal immigration detention as the strict enforcement rules spare no one, not even the families of active duty troops. And the arrest comes as the warship itself withdraws from combat amid severe crew exhaustion and official denials from Washington. Take a look.
The USS Abraham Lincoln spent more than 200 consecutive days without a port call, setting a modern-day record as the carrier remained deployed during the Iran war. This comes at a time when the US military has taken massive hits as it fights Iran. The American bases have been targeted. The US has suffered heavy combat losses. 750 US soldiers are injured, while 18 others lost their lives in the line of duty. The grueling war has forced the world's mightiest military to be stretched. Nuclear-powered USS Abraham Lincoln was deployed in the Persian Gulf for 274 days. This extraordinary deployment came with a growing list of concerns. Families of sailors raised alarms about conditions aboard the carrier, including reports of supply shortages and the mental strain of such a prolonged deployment. U.S. lawmakers demanded answers. The Pentagon pushed back. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth rejected reports of deteriorating conditions, saying accounts of problems aboard the Lincoln had been completely misrepresented. Pentagon also praised the crew for its performance under extreme operational pressure. The USS George Washington has now arrived in the region to take over from the Lincoln after its extended deployment. The exhausted Lincoln's crew is finally heading towards a break from the relentless war. And for one sailor, the next battle is at home. Joshua Avils, serving aboard the Abraham Lincoln, learned that his father, Luis Manuel Avils Roa, had been detained by U.S. Border Patrol in Key West, Florida. The Nicaraguan immigrant is being held by immigration authorities while removal proceedings continue. According to reports, Avils Roa had a driver's license, social security card, and work permit. His family was also waiting for a decision on his green card application. But under the Trump administration's tightened immigration approach, having a family member serving in the U.S. military does not automatically protect a relative from immigration enforcement. The Trump administration has dramatically expanded immigration enforcement. ICE operations have intensified across the country, while protections that previously gave some military families greater security have become more limited for families of deployed troops. That creates a new tension.
This time they decided to, your wife is being deported, you don't even have to wait for her here. And I'm like, I'm confused. We got all this paperwork being done and we're doing the right thing. We've been coming into your appointments and just trying to do the right thing. Why are you doing this? Why are you breaking this family apart and making us go through all these emotional roller coasters?
My mom was able to get her permanent residency, and it did take quite a few years, but we were able to work through it, and she was able to get that status. My father's case has been a little more complicated. There's been a few roadblocks here or there where we had to pretty much go back and start from like ground zero. So that's why it's taken so much longer for my father.
A sailor can be thousands of miles away, serving on a carrier in a war zone, while an immigration case involving a parent unfolds back home. And Abraham Lincoln's own experience makes the timing striking. The carrier has been pushed through a record deployment while families questioned whether the crew was receiving everything it needed. Now the super carrier is being relieved, but the questions remain. How much strain can America's military crews absorb? And how much pressure can their families carry while the U.S. expands both its military commitments abroad and immigration enforcement at home? Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Time now to take a quick look at the global headlines at this hour, taking you around the world in 120 seconds.
Protests have erupted in Tunisia's Ben Guerdon after a boat carrying 15 Tunisian migrants sank. 14 victims were from the region. Residents blocked roads and set tires on fire, leading to clashes with police during nighttime protests. Chinese President Xi Jinping has welcomed Jordan's King Abdullah II to Beijing, calling for deeper strategic trust and stronger cooperation. The two leaders also witnessed the signing of several agreements and memorandums after their talks. President Draupadi Murmu has accepted credentials from 6 foreign envoys at a ceremony at Rashtrapati Bhavan. The diplomats represented South Sudan, the UAE, Nigeria, Moldova, Germany, and Sweden. Delhi's Food Safety Department has stepped up inspections ahead of the festive season. During a major drive at Okla Sabji Mandi, officials destroyed around 508 kilograms of spurious paneer. 22 food samples have also been sent for laboratory testing. The Russian daredevil couple accused of climbing the Empire State Building's towering spire appeared in court in New York. Angelina Nicolaou and Ivan Kuznetsov face several charges, including burglary, reckless endangerment, and criminal trespass.
Asim Munir is in Tehran. What for? He's trying to calm the tempers down, it seems. But then in his own country, things are volatile on the ground, to say the least. One of Pakistan's most powerful politicians, Maulana Fazlur Rahman, has given a rude jolt to Asim Munir, reminding him that the country could once again face the humiliation of 1971. He basically is warning that the country could face another division And he is seemingly pointing at the oppression of the Pakistani military from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Let's just break this down. Addressing a convention in Peshawar, he questioned the military's chest-thumping and all those tall claims at a time when Pakistan is reeling under immense public suffering. Hitting out at the army chief, Rahman recalled how in December 1971, the Pakistan army surrendered to India. After then President Yahya Khan made a grand declaration of fighting until the end. The 13-day war ended with the surrender of around 93,000 Pakistani military personnel in Dhaka, paving the way for the fall of Pakistan's eastern wing and the birth of Bangladesh. And drawing a parallel between the military's historic claims and its present-day conduct, Rahman questioned why the public is being subjected to severe hardships while the establishment remains insensitive to their misery. Not just that, he warned that continued oppression and bloodshed could lead to fresh geographical changes in the region. Very important. In fact, the timing of his remarks is also significant. Just last week, remember, Pakistan passed the new Defence Act, under which Asim Munir now has sweeping authorities over the country's armed forces, including the power to retire, discharge or retain personnel, and to alter prescribed retirement limits as well. The legislation follows Pakistan's 27th constitutional amendment enacted in November last year, which radically reorganized its military command. Meanwhile, Pakistan remains on the boil. After protests in POK, demonstrations are now gathering momentum in Sindh as well. Political groups there have taken to the streets against proposals for new provinces and projects that they say threaten the region's land, water and resources. And activists say over 100 Sindhi political activists are currently missing or are allegedly being held by Pakistan's security and intelligence agencies. Families and rights groups have raised concerns over alleged torture, intimidation, enforced disappearances, and other forms of mistreatment. Even as Iran faces US sanctions amid the ongoing West Asia conflict, it has struck a jackpot, it seems, as far as new gas reserves are concerned, potentially adding a new stream of revenue in the future. Iran's oil minister announced the discovery of 7.5 trillion cubic feet of natural gas in the south of Iran's Fars province. Let's just explain this. Based on an estimated recovery rate of 72%, he revealed that around 5.7 trillion cubic feet of gas could be extracted. Not just that, according to him, this gas field could produce around 1 billion cubic feet of natural gas per day for 15 years. Let's just play out for you what he said.
Fortunately, this enormous volume of gas has a particularly important characteristic. It is what we call sweet gas. Because the gas is sweet, it helps bring down both development costs and the costs of production and operation.
Now, this is not the first time new gas reserves have been discovered in Iran's Fars province. In October last year, 10 trillion cubic feet of gas was found in the Pazan gas field of this province. However, nearly 75% of the country's natural gas reserves are concentrated in South Pars natural gas field, which it shares with Qatar in the Persian Gulf. And it is the world's largest natural gas field, according to the US Energy Information Administration. Iran's estimated proven natural gas reserves standing at 1,200 trillion cubic feet, second only to Russia. So why is the latest discovery vital for Iran is the immediate question. The country's energy sector has taken a hit given the US-Israel strikes, with a daily reduction of around 230 million cubic meters of natural gas production. And at the peak of the war, even the South Pars natural gas field, remember, was attacked by Israel. And since then, Iran has been carrying out repairs to its damaged energy infrastructure. And while Iran is the third largest natural gas producer after America and Russia, it is also one of the world's largest gas consumers. For instance, 94% of the gas which it produces is consumed domestically. That's because Iranian households are heavily dependent on gas for cooking, heating. And according to the International Energy Agency, the residential sector accounted for 41.5% of the overall gas consumption, followed by industry with 36%. That's not all. About 85% of Iran's electricity is generated by gas-fired power plants. And according to reports, though, production of gas from the new site in Fars is likely to be years away, as Iran lacks sufficient investment and technology in field and upstream infrastructure development. Its export capacity is also limited, with Turkey and Iran being the main buyers. However, Iran's oil and gas industry has remained resilient by using AI to boost output. Recently, Iranian researchers developed an indigenous smart production management system. It basically integrates wells, pipelines, and surface processing facilities and adjusts operating conditions to maximize efficiency. According to the researchers, this can increase oil recovery in surface storage facilities by up to 59% over a 20-year production period, besides reducing maintenance costs. Before we go on any further, a quick look at what else is lined up for you on the show tonight. We get you a detailed report on how Indian weapons are entering the global market. Can domestic production deliver fast enough for India's own front lines is the question we are focusing on, and other aspects. This is coming up next. He's being called a teenage Superman as he fights forest fires in Indonesia. It's a special story. We're getting you more on this. All this and a lot more coming up. For decades, India went shopping abroad for the weapons it needed to fight its wars. Now the direction is changing. From BrahMos to Pinaka, Indian weapons are entering the global market, and countries that once sold weapons to India are now facing a new competitor in a way. But behind this export surge lies a bigger question. Can domestic production deliver fast enough for India's own front lines? Our next report getting you the details.
Global defense corridors are buzzing with a new realization. The monopoly of traditional arms superpowers is cracking wide open under the weight of high costs and complex supply chains. Nations looking for battle-tested lethal precision without diplomatic baggage are turning their focus toward New Delhi. The transformation is rapid, ruthless, and impossible to ignore. Modern wars are increasingly defined by how quickly armies can detect, strike, and relocate. The weapon in point is Pinaka, built to deliver rapid strikes against hostile targets and developed completely in India. The Pinaka rocket system has emerged as a key component of the Indian Army's artillery arsenal, having seen operational use from the Kargil War to present-day deployments along the country's borders. Pinaka has established itself as a proven and battle-tested weapon system. In 2022, Armenia procured Pinaka systems from India in a deal worth $265 million. Armenia is now looking to acquire more Pinaka systems as it remains locked in a conflict with Azerbaijan. Egypt is reportedly evaluating India's indigenous Pinaka multi-barrel rocket launcher as a cost-effective alternative to the American HIMARS. And the next phase could be even bigger. Armenia is reportedly negotiating the price for more than 50 Indian-made Pralay tactical missiles.
+1, +2, +3 and counting up.
Developed by India's DRDO, Pralay missile operates at a range of 150 to 500 kilometers. It fills the gap for a fast, reacting, high-precision conventional strike weapon that functions outside nuclear doctrine constraints. India's defense production hit a record of 1.78 lakh crore in 2025 to 26, nearly 4 times the level of 2013 to 14. From BrahMos to Pinaka, from Pinaka to Akash, and now Pralay, India is building a portfolio that covers missiles, rockets, artillery, air defense and battlefield systems. But there is a catch. Indigenization cannot simply be measured by how many weapons India sells abroad. The real test is how quickly the Indian Army, Navy and Air Force receive what they urgently need. A weapon exported today can earn foreign exchange and strengthen India's defense industry. But a weapon delayed for India's own forces can create an operational gap. That is the balance New Delhi must get right. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
Ahead of the Chinese President Xi Jinping's possible visit to India for the BRICS summit in September, India's National Security Advisor arrived in Beijing on a crucial 2-day visit, with both countries eyeing a reset in their bilateral ties. Doval and the Chinese Foreign Minister will be holding the 25th round of the Special Representatives' talks on the dispute over the India-China border spanning 3,488 kilometers. And during that visit, Doval will also call on China's Vice President.
At this meeting, the two sides will continue to have in-depth communication on the border issue and jointly safeguard peace and tranquility in the border areas in accordance with the understanding reached by the leaders of the two countries. Also, both sides will exchange views on bilateral relations and international and regional issues.
And while relations between New Delhi and Beijing had come under severe strain after the 2020 Galwan Valley clash, both sides have taken steps to stabilize ties. For instance, direct flights between India and China have resumed, and the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra has restarted. The last round of talks between the two sides, in fact, Doval and the Chinese Foreign Minister, took place in New Delhi in August 2025. Back then, they reiterated the importance of maintaining peace and tranquility in the border areas to promote overall development of the bilateral relationship. On that occasion, they also agreed to reopen trade through the 3 designated trading points and facilitate trade and investment flows. Doval's visit also assuming significance as it may lay the groundwork for Xi Jinping's potential visit to New Delhi for the BRICS summit next month, where he can meet Prime Minister Modi. Now, the two leaders also last met in China's Tianjin in August last year, remember, on the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. Back then, Prime Minister Modi affirmed that ties between the two sides are heading in a positive direction. Prior to that, Prime Minister Modi met Xi Jinping in October 2024 on the sidelines of the BRICS Summit in Russia. It's worth noting here that 7 years have passed since Xi Jinping's last visit to India. These are visuals from October 2019 as the Chinese leader arrived in Chennai for a summit with Prime Minister Modi. He was welcomed by traditional dancers, musicians. The two leaders met in Tamil Nadu, which is known for its historic temples and architecture. Adorning traditional Tamil attire, Prime Minister Modi took Xi Jinping on a tour around UNESCO World Heritage listed monuments in the town as well. Xi Jinping, who was dressed in a white shirt and dark trousers, watched an Indian cultural show alongside Prime Minister Modi. And the next day, the two leaders held talks as part of the summit. Now, friction between the two countries has been brewing over Arunachal Pradesh as well. Earlier in August, remember, India rejected China's criticism of its decision to formally identify 27 places in Arunachal Pradesh on official maps. New Delhi stressed that the state is an inalienable and integral part of India, and nothing can change this indisputable reality. Recently, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar made India's position amply clear. He emphasized that peace and tranquility in the border areas is a prerequisite for good relations between India and China. A massive political row has erupted in Tamil Nadu over a viral video falsely claiming to show the state industries minister stepping out of a car in a Western outfit. Let's tell you what this row is all about. And in a post, in fact, on X, Kirtana called the controversy a reflection of her fragile and regressive mindset in an indirect reference to DMK's leader. Kirtana wrote that not much can be expected from followers of a leader with a track record of deeply derogatory remarks against women. She denied that she was the woman in the video and questioned why it should have been an issue even if she had been in it. Earlier, several social media users, including DMK supporters, shared a video of a woman in a short dress getting out of a car and questioned whether she was the minister, Kirtana. Former BJP state president, in fact, also came out in support of Kirtana. In a post on X, condemned the trolling of the minister, saying political differences should never become an excuse to attack a woman's dignity. In fact, the controversy is the latest in that disturbing trend of women becoming targets of the political mudslinging in the state. Earlier this month, remember, a war of words erupted between the TVK and the DMK over leader of opposition's derogatory remarks involving actor Trisha. A similar row erupted over Trisha's presence at the Independence Day event in Chennai. The TVK minister in question was elected in the 2026 assembly elections, and she has emerged as one of the most visible faces of the TVK government, in fact. Before entering electoral politics, she worked as a political consultant and campaign strategist. She's also the youngest minister in the Vijay-led cabinet. Meanwhile, a night of coordinated attacks has shaken Thailand's restive south, a region that has been at the center of a long-running insurgency. According to the Thai authorities, more than 50 coordinated arson and incendiary attacks were carried out across the region, aimed at creating unrest. At least 3 civilians have been injured in the attacks. The violence was concentrated across 3 southern provinces.
There were many arson, there was destruction of property.
The scale of the attacks is quite clear in these images on your screen. Shops, buildings seen on fire, several government buildings targeted. Officials say the violence mainly involved small bombs, arson, and other forms of property damage. One of the most high-profile targets, meanwhile, was a 7-Eleven convenience store. These images showing the store engulfed in flames as the firefighters worked to bring the blaze under control. An overnight curfew was also imposed in parts of the province as security forces stepped up patrols and searched for those behind the attacks. Following this, the Thai Prime Minister called an urgent meeting with senior security officials on Sunday to assess the situation and coordinate the government's response as well. The violence has once again drawn attention to Thailand's predominantly Malay Muslim region bordering Malaysia. In fact, these areas that we are talking about are the only Thai provinces where Muslims make up a majority of the population. And for years, many residents have raised concerns over discrimination, political marginalization, and heavy-handed security measures, allegedly. At the same time, separatist groups have continued to push for greater autonomy or self-rule. And the current phase of the insurgency started in 2004, making it one of Southeast Asia's longest-running conflicts. Conflict monitoring and research organizations estimating that more than 7,000 people have been killed since the violence returned. The insurgency has largely been associated with the BRN, which is a Malay Muslim separatist organization. Still, there was no immediate confirmation that the group was behind the latest attacks. For years now, Tokyo has been at the heart of Japan's political, economic, cultural life. It's known for its food, business, technology, government institutions, other aspects. But having so much of the country centered in one part also creates a serious risk. For example, what happens if a major disaster brings Tokyo to a standstill? So Japan is now considering one possible answer, a secondary capital that could act as an alternative base for the government and keep essential national operations running during a disaster or any other emergency. The proposal has triggered an intense contest among cities and regional governments across the country, with hundreds of millions of dollars potentially at stake. 13 local governments have now entered the race, and among the leading contenders is Osaka, Japan's commercial hub, also Fukuoka, a growing city in the southwest, also Sapporo, the capital of the northern Hokkaido. Even Gunma, a mountainous prefecture with about 1.9 million people. It has submitted a bid as well. And local leaders are going all out to promote their paths. Mayors, governors have held news conferences, while Osaka has taken a more unusual approach, it seems. It has created a campaign symbol, a mascot, a talking, welcoming cat. The proposal has also divided public opinion. Supporters arguing that Japan is one of the world's most disaster-prone countries. Tokyo is frequently exposed to earthquakes, typhoons, floods, and other hazards. And if measures are not taken soon, a major catastrophe could disrupt critical communications networks and infrastructure at the same time. Japan lies along the Pacific Ring of Fire, remember, one of the world's most earthquake-prone regions. The risk was laid bare in 2011 when a magnitude 9.1 earthquake and tsunami struck northeastern Japan. More than 19,000 people lost their lives. On the other hand, critics see the plan as a politically motivated project designed to benefit allies of the Prime Minister. One of her closest political partners is the Japan Innovation Party, which has campaigned for years to establish its home base of Osaka as an alternate capital. Still, the final decision rests with the Prime Minister. While no official timetable has been announced as such, her cabinet is expected to set the criteria for a secondary capital in the coming months. But then this race is also about more than just picking a second capital. It's also opened up a bigger conversation about how Japan should spread political power, public investment and economic opportunity, especially at a time when the country deals with a shrinking population and growing climate and seismic risks as well. And that brings Japan to a difficult question. Can a country so heavily centered on one city really stay resilient if that city itself comes under threat? India's two megapolises, one over 2,000 kilometers apart, in fact, are grappling with the same health scare, a surge in swine flu. While the exact cause for the massive spike remains unclear, doctors say awareness remains crucial. Delhi and Bengaluru both have registered record H1N1 numbers this year, swine flu. While Delhi has recorded nearly 1,800 cases this year, almost 8 times as compared to the corresponding period last year. Bengaluru, meanwhile, has recorded over 2,000 cases till the 22nd of August, almost 80% of its total tally of 2025, with over 4 months still to go. And the absolute numbers might seem alarming, but doctors say there is no real reason to panic. H1N1, being a form of influenza itself, can cause symptoms similar to common flu, is usually self-limiting and does not require hospitalizations until complications surface, usually linked to age and comorbidities. For swine flu, doctors say the symptoms include runny nose, cough, sore throat, fever, body ache, fatigue. Some patients may also experience vomiting and diarrhea. For many, the H1N1 surge immediately brings back the memories of COVID-19, but once again, doctors say such fears are misplaced. Doctors say the onset of symptoms in both cases may be similar. H1N1 cases may see symptoms worsening far more rapidly as compared to COVID-19. The risk factors in both cases linked to age and other underlying health conditions. And the Delhi government for now has issued an advisory to people urging them to maintain physical and social hygiene. People have been asked to consult a doctor in case of onset of symptoms rather than self-medicate. Hospitals and district health authorities, meanwhile, have also been instructed to strengthen screening, reporting and monitoring of influenza-like illness and severe acute respiratory infection cases. And the government has also designated 2 referral labs at AIIMS and the National Center for Disease Control for testing and monitoring. More than 260,000 acres of land, that's an area 3 times the size of the capital, Jakarta. It has been destroyed because of the wildfires in Indonesia. Now, as the wildfires threaten homes across the country, one teenage volunteer is stepping into the flames to help protect his community. Our next report getting you his story. Take a look.
After school, I would just come home and help monitor the situation. Rather than just staying home and be on my phone, I'd rather join the firefighting crew because this is my home.
Time now to get you Gravitas image of the day. For this, we take you to China. These are images from the World Humanoid Robot Games in Beijing. Various robots taking parts in a series of events. A robot reaches pick-up weight. It seems to be struggling with that heavy weight. It then falls ahead towards the judges' table and onto the floor. Take a look. Time now for the big question hanging in the air, the answer to which determines a lot. Ahead of America's sanctions announcement, IRGC has threatened to target US energy choke points and vital interests if Iran's infrastructure is attacked. So there's a big question. Is a fresh escalation in the offing in the next few days, and what lies ahead for West Asia? A quick look now at the major events expected to unfold over the next 24 hours. India's finance minister will embark on an official visit to Canada and the US on Tuesday. Besides participating in the G20 finance ministers and central bank governors meeting, she will also hold talks on bilateral economic cooperation and investment opportunities. Oman's foreign minister will be traveling to Iran on Tuesday to hold talks on regulating the passage of ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Kuwait's foreign minister will be holding talks with his South Korean counterpart in Seoul. They are expected to discuss energy, security, and supply issues. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Gravitas Tonight. This is me, Molly Gambhir, signing off. Thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned.
No matter what your day throws at you, stay in the spa state of mind with the Kohler Spa at home.
The Israeli drone is above our heads all the time in Lebanon. Around 169 buildings have been totally reduced to rubble. Every time there's a warning, they just come to this public area where there are around 200 tents, and they reside for a while, and then they go back to their homes. Some of the Lebanese people enjoying their times, and some others forcibly displaced. From the southern suburb of Beirut, I'm Radi Francis for WION The World is One.
No matter what your day throws at you, stay in the spa state of mind with the Kohler Spa at home.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. Week after week, creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION. World is One.
No matter what your day throws at you, stay in the spa state of mind with the Kohler Spa at home.
In the last 12 months, India's defense technology has taken some big steps forward. INS Mahendragiri is bringing stealth, sensors and networked systems to the sea. Rustam is giving the forces an unmanned eye that can stay aloft for hours.